Right now, there's a fire engineering leader or director somewhere in the world who's about to lose millions in projects. And it's not because their technical work isn't exceptional. It's not because they don't have the expertise, but simply because they don't have enough qualified fire engineers. Now, throughout my conversations with fire engineering leaders and directors, I've watched the same story play out dozens of times. Brilliant firms with incredible reputations turning away work they're perfectly capable to deliver on, simply because they can't find the people to do it. Now, in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly why this isn't just a recruitment problem. It's actually an industry crisis. It's costing consultancies millions in lost revenue. Now, more importantly, I'm going to be revealing why the traditional approach to solving this problem is actually making it worse. So yeah, here's what's really happening in the fire engineering sector right now. Projects are getting more complex, and building regulations are tightening post Grenfell. Client expectations are higher than they've ever been, and the pipeline of qualified fire engineers isn't keeping up with the pace of demand that's out there. But here's what most people don't see: this isn't about skills and shortages. It's about three specific factors, just three. The the first factor is experience. Now, the experience gap is massive. Fire engineering isn't something you can just learn from a YouTube video like you're watching right now. It's not something you can just learn, you know, easily. You need to be chartered. You need to have project experience. You need to be people who understand performance-based design, who can navigate building regulations, with their eyes closed. These aren't graduate roles. These aren't senior positions requiring 5, 10, even 15 years of specialized experience. And right now, there simply aren't enough of them to just go around. I've seen consultants spend 6 months trying to fill a single, just one single fire engineering position. 6 months of rejection, candidates, projects being delayed, overtime mounting, and existing team members burning out. On to the second factor. It's the hidden market. Here's something that most directors don't realize. The best fire engineers are the ones who can walk into any consultancy, your consultancy even tomorrow, and immediately add value. They're not actively job searching and scrolling. They're not looking through every job board. They're even not updating their LinkedIn profile. They're already employed, working on interesting projects and perfectly content where they are. Until someone presents them with that opportunity, the right opportunity in the right way. This means that posting a job board and waiting for applications is like fishing in a pond that's already dry. Though you're competing with every other consultancy for the same tiny little pond, tiny little pool where active clients aren't really active, where clients aren't really active. Now, coming to the third factor, the delivery pressure. Even when you do find someone who's good, there's a problem. Your existing team is already stretched thin. You're working on multiple projects, dealing with design changes and attending site meetings. Who has the time to properly interview clients? Who has bandwidth to thoroughly vet technical competency? Who can afford to spend weeks on recruitment when they're already working 50 hours just trying to keep up with the projects on track? Now, this creates a vicious cycle. You need people because you're busy, but you're too busy to properly hire the people. So you either rush the process and make poor hires, or delay it, and the problem just gets worse. Now, the cost of inaction. Let me show you actually what the capacity crisis actually costs. Well, there's obvious costs. Turn down projects. That 500K design contract you couldn't take on because you didn't have the capacity. The repeat client went elsewhere because you couldn't guarantee delivery times. But there are also hidden costs. Your senior engineers are spending their evenings and weekends on projects instead of with their families. The quality issue creeps in when teams are overstretched and client relationships suffer when this happens. I've watched consultancies lose their best because of burnout. Talented engineers who love their work but couldn't sustain the pace. They left for competitors with a better work-life balance. And moved with less demanding sectors entirely. Now, here's the thing that keeps most directors awake at night. This problem compounds. Losing one engineer increases pressure on everyone else, which increases the risk of losing everything and it just falling down. Now, this makes it even harder to hire new talent because word gets out that you've overworked your team. So why haven't you solved this already? You're not lazy. You're not incompetent. You're running actually a successful consultancy in a demanding factor, which is rising. Problem is that most directors approach recruitment the same way everyone else does. Post a job, wait for the applications, interview whoever applies, hoping some decent candidates come along. But here's what's wrong with that approach. You get only a handful of applications from people who are actually either desperate to leave their current role for a reason or who aren't qualified, but they're willing to just try their luck. Meanwhile, the experienced fire engineers who do brilliant work at your competitors who would be perfect for your team, who's actually open for the right opportunity, they never even see your job posting. Recruitment agencies are much better. Most of them are working on volume, sending every CV that mentions fire and engineering in the same paragraph, regardless of whether they're actually suitable. They don't understand the difference between someone who can do fire strategy for a complex high-rise and someone who's only done simple means of escape drawing. And here's what actually works. And it's not rocket science, but it does require a completely different approach. The best fire engineers aren't found through job posting. They're identified through targeted strategic outreach. You need someone who understands the market, who knows where the talent actually is, who can have conversations with engineers who aren't actively looking but might be open to the opportunity in the right time. Someone who presents your consultancy in a way that makes exceptional engineers actually want to talk to you, who can communicate what makes your projects interesting, your team supportive, your company culture strong. And critically, someone who has the time to do this properly while you focus on what you do best. Let me paint you a picture of what this looks like in practice. Imagine having a pipeline of pre-qualified candidates who've been through, thoroughly vetted before they even reach your desk. Engineers who not only have the technical skills, but are also aligned with your company culture and project types. Imagine interviewing 3 candidates, all of whom could genuinely fit the job, rather than seeing 20 CVs where 19 are just completely unsuitable. Imagine your senior engineers spending their time on billable work and technical development, not sifting through unsuitable applications and conducting preliminary phone screening. Now imagine having the confidence to pursue larger projects because you know that you can scale your team to deliver them. This isn't a hypothetical. This is what happens when you approach fire engineering recruitment strategically rather than reactive. Right now, we're seeing a shift in how the smartest consultancies approach this challenge. They're recognizing that recruitment isn't an admin task, it's a strategic function that directly impacts their ability to grow. The firms that are winning right now, the ones that are securing major projects and building exceptional teams, they're not doing it alone. They're partnering with specialists who understand their sectors, who have networks within the fire engineering space, who can access the hidden market of passive candidates. They're treating recruitment as an investment, not an expense, because they understand that one good hire doesn't fill a gap, it actually enables growth, improves the quality, reduces the pressure of existing teams, and creates capacity for opportunity. So here's what you need to understand about your current situation. You're at a crossroads. One path leads to more of the same, struggling to find people, turning down work, and watching your best engineers burn out. And the other path leads somewhere different, to a consultancy with the capacity to pursue the work you want, to a team that's properly supported, the growth that's sustainable rather than chaotic. I work exclusively with fire engineering consultancies across the UK, helping them solve exactly this problem. And I'm not a traditional recruitment agency sending you every single CV I can find. I focus on specifically only the fire engineers because I understand what you actually need. My approach is simple. I identify the right candidates. I have meaningful conversations with them. and only introduce you to engineers who are genuinely suitable and genuinely interested. Now, if you're a director or lead fire engineer who's tired of the capacity crisis limiting your consultancy's potential, I'd like to have a conversation with you. Not a sales pitch, just a straightforward discussion about what you're dealing with and whether there's a way I could potentially help. Now, you can reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. My name is Ahmed Naomi, and I specialize in fire engineering recruitment for consultancies like yours. So 6 months from now, you'll be in one of two positions. You'll either still be struggling with the same capacity issues, still turning down projects, still watching competitors grow while you're stuck in the same place, or you'll have built a team that enables you to pursue the work that excites you, deliver projects that showcase your expertise, to grow your consultancy in a sustainable way. Now, the difference between the two futures comes down to how you approach this challenge. If you're ready to solve this properly, reach out to me on LinkedIn. And yeah, let's talk about what's possible for your consultancy.